Okay, so here we are at the outskirts of Rye. The stone path that we see here runs direct from NCN2 and along NCN2 into the centre of Rye. It's quite a detour by motor vehicle going around the fields, and it's actually quicker to cycle than it is to take a car from this location. We've got ditches, and this is an existing farm track, not part of the DFT scheme, but I think it's important to show what we're linking into, and this could certainly do with a lovely sort of bound surface path subject to future funding. Just spinning round, we have an active brook, which you'll probably be able to hear in the background, and a substandard section of NCN2 track-wise, which in fairness has been cut back since the phase 1 lockdown of COVID. When we visited, this was all overgrown and very, very difficult to get through, with very little opportunity to social distance. There may be in the future an opportunity to speak with the adjoining landowner to see whether we can put a segregated cycle path the other side of that fence line, and then tie back in here to get across the brook. It's not clear to me whether this bridge is a Sustrans asset or not. Saying that, we have undertaken vegetation clearance works. This could probably do with a bit of cutting back and some fencing, just to protect people from slipping into the water there. It's an existing track, concrete base, I'd say pretty substantial. If anything, we could add a new deck on top of what's here to give us a slightly wider crossing. Certainly wouldn't want to tumble into the river stroke ditch here, and then widening out. This is the section that Sustrans has responsibility for in terms of surface and maintenance, leading up to that bridge. I'll just pan round a bit slower this time. An intersection with a public right-of-way footpath. We could add some signing to say where that goes, and NCN signing on a steel post, which should last a long time. A galvanised post. Again, we've got a stone farm track. Not sure how easy it would be to gain access to the adjacent field, but that's one for another time. We've had some heavy rain in recent days and weeks, so it'd be a good opportunity to see where everything is puddling up along the way. Let's just cycle down to the road crossing. section is nice and wide. It has been cut back in recent times on the verges, so plenty of passing for pedestrians. Quite a few potholes along the way that we've tried to fill, but hasn't stuck. This really is a straightforward resurfacing project. There is a requirement to dismount here and utilise the squeaky self-closing bridle gate. How'd you do? And then we come to our, I suppose we could say, controversial road crossing in terms of few previous inquiries from Natural England who wanted to run the coastal path through here. Unfortunately, this was declined by East Sussex County Council, who felt that the current arrangements and location did not meet their highway requirements. I think just some basic vegetation clearance of that hedge where the white van has just passed would improve sight lines in that direction. And from this side, sight lines are good. However, there is a bend there, and I suppose traffic approaching quickly might catch people unawares. We do have the benefit of a central reservation crossing here. When I say benefit, I think you need it on this particular road. The white lining is nice and up to date, and again, this is a better example of the sight lines with the vegetation affecting visibility displays. We'll just do a slow pan. And then I think while we're here, we'll just approach it from the other direction before we start the onward journey to Camber. I would say the sight lines here are more critical, but it is the vegetation growth that is spoiling the visibility display. You can see vehicles approaching to the rear of that tree line, but one really has no idea of what speed they're going until they break through in a second, and we'll just see where we can actually see them from. Here they come. Right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, just under 4 seconds before they reach the bend, travelling at a reasonable speed. And we'll just look this way and take to the crossing again. No issues as far as I'm concerned with oncoming traffic in this direction. take a look at that planning notice. And an NCN information sign on the gate before we're gaining access onto the path. Defunct notice board that might be useful, and we'll close up